Greetings, nail peoples. Come on in. Let everybody get their alert going here. And hello, Jerry. I was trying to get my little shameless promotion in here, but come on in, guys. Hi. Hello. Today I have Andrea's favorite mug. She should be in here shortly. Andrea loves my head-sized Cheshire Cat mug. Oh, Amy made it. Yay. So, yes, today we have the Cheshire Cat, and its huge mug is full of coffee. So, yes, Tina, it's still sort of Easter time. Come on in, everybody. Let's chat. Let's chat. Hello. So I got a really big cup of coffee today so that, because I figure I'll be doing more reading questions off the screen. So Amy says she's in the car with Miranda. She said, remember to shout out, right? Yes. Nails Association, Amy Davis. Nails Association is still in the game. And so definitely pop on over to nailsassociation.com and check out what's going on there. You can also find Nails Association stuff on universityofnails.com. So, all right, guys. So since there's some show topics coming up that I want to cover. Hi, Paul. So there's some show topics coming up. I want to cover things like some liability insurance questions. Hi, Camille. And which we'll probably do on Thursday. And then I want to talk about some salon nail art techniques, but I wanted to pull some more information, and I wanted to get some information from some of our nail art gurus in the industry. So I decided that can wait until next Monday. So that meant today is an Ask Me Anything, because we haven't had one of those in a while. So whatever questions you might have that you want me to answer live and unfiltered, type them on in, and I will give you the best answer that I got for you. Because y'all know me, authentic, no BS. So lay it on me. Let's have some questions. These are always fun shows to do. I'm going to get my other phone ready in case I need to screenshot. Oh, Amy wants to know, what color are my toes? My toes are currently a kind of coralish, pinkish, reddish color. Here, so I'll just show you. There we are. It's a trial from the Jessica Phenom polish. That is a long wear polish, a lot like Vinylux. It doesn't have a base coat, and it has a special top coat. And I tried it on my nails, and it lasted about the same as Vinylux. And so I was curious how it would go on and remove on my toes. So I have Jessica Phenom polish on my toes. I wish I could remember the name of the color. It's buried in the box over there. Camille, now that we have got feet out of the way, right? Right? Hey, I even showed you guys my toes. So it's live entertainment here, right? All right, come on. Lay it on me, people. Got my other phone ready so that I can take a picture of my screen. If that was awesome. Oh, you guys are funny. Camille, I need to get out of this grocery store so I can participate. Yeah, Camille, what are you doing? Going grocery shopping at Nails Over Coffee time. Didn't I teach you better than that? Shame on you. We do need to, for those of us who are going to the one nail expo in Portland next month, we need to make that my next show, right? We need to plan some time. I'm only coming down for Sunday. I don't know if anybody else is only coming down for Sunday, but so we need to figure out some place and time to meet. while we're at the show, all on the show floor. I know it's hard during show days. I'll be there in the morning doing broadcasting from the line in the morning like I did yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Or last year, that was a lot of fun. But I'd like to have a spot where we can, all meet up together. Miranda wants to know, question number 2, how do I feel about salon bashing? I hate it. I hate it. I'm not even a fan of all kinds of comparative advertising. It has a place if it's done professionally and appropriately. Hello in Alberta. We see that all the time on TV with commercials for different things, where somebody says Lexus, it's the best in its class, it's better than Acura, it's better than Infiniti, or, whatever. We see comparative advertising like that all the time. And as long as it's done tastefully, it's not offensive. But we got into big arguments all the time in my marketing classes about how effective it is. And it's really only effective if the person doing the advertising is significantly and statistically provable concretely head and shoulders above everybody else. So let's use, for example, like Samsung VR gear. Samsung VR gear in its price range, it's no Oculus Rift. It's no, any of the fancy VR, $600-700 VR headsets. It's not even close. But in its price range, it's way better. If you're a Samsung user or an Android user, the Samsung VR gear is way better than the other ones you can buy. It's more expensive, but it's worth it. And so some comparative advertising on their part wouldn't necessarily be such a bad gig, because I'm sure there's people who want to go, well, why would I spend $100 on that when I can spend $20 on this one? Well, because it's 5 times better, and here's why. That would be understandable and not offensive. But I think comparative advertising as a general thing just doesn't work as well. And so there's really no need for salon bashing. If you're that much better, then you should be able to just advertise on your merit. And if your value proposition's working right, then you shouldn't have to explain to people why you charge what you charge, regardless of what the rest of the market is charging. If there's enough value built into your services, people should they should understand. With your communication of your advertising, they should then understand what they're getting for that price. And that would be more the focus of advertising than bashing other salons in the area. So in general, we should lift each other up. We should try to educate for the places. I have a salon that's down the road from me here that I love them. I mean, technically, they're not my competition because we're not in the same price bracket, but they're doing a really good job. And they're super open to talking to me about things. Why? Because I'm not bashing them. I'm not a jerk. And I go in there and I get a pedicure done here and there. I've had my nails done from time to time, and they know I'm a nail tech, and they know I'm a way higher priced nail tech than what they are. And we talk about all kinds of stuff when I'm in there that has to do with the nail industry. And they learn things every time I'm in there. And, if I was an ass, they wouldn't do that. So I don't know. I don't believe in salon bashing. I think if there's a legitimate safety concern, that then you should just report them to whoever regulatory board is in your area, whether it's the State Board of Cosmetology or the Board of Health in your area or whatever. But if it's not that, if it's just they're doing crappy work and using crappy products and stuff like that, well, let them be crappy. People will figure it out, or some people will just always pay for crap. So, you just put it out there that what you should look at, though, is you should look at why they're still getting business, even though they're doing crappy work, and then see if you need to be advertising there. Let's see. I'm pretty sure this is Brenda. It's like the term NSS. Well, non-standard salon. And I don't know. I sort of draw an issue with that anyway. Barb, sorry, wrong one, wrong B. See, it's been too long since you guys have talked to me. I think that we've gone past the days of NSS being an appropriate term, because non-standard salon is supposed to talk about what somebody is doing. Yeah, Darlene says salon bashing is often more about the basher than the bashee. That's true. I think we can't really use non-standard salon because we don't even really have any agreement on what the standard is anymore. I think that the standard should be whatever the laws and are in your jurisdiction. But since we have a lot of places that are unregulated, that doesn't really cover that either. And so, I don't know, retailers tend to go by discount retailers or big box retailers or chain retailers or specialty retailers or those types of distinctions. And I think at this point, even though we're in the service industry, I think that maybe distinguishing people more by price point, which is kind of a business model, than by technically what they're doing might be more general and more appropriate. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I mean, I got a lot of the answers. Don't get me wrong, but I don't have all the answers. So I don't know. It's just definitely something to think about. I think that the term NSS was great for when it was coined. I think it's, like I said, perhaps becoming a bit outdated, especially as the problem with non-standard salon is that now it has some ethnicity tied to it, and that's never good. Nikki says, I have 4 salons within a 5-mile radius and 3 use MMA. Explain to my clients what it is, but who do I contact? Where are you at, Nikki? And if they're using MMA, you guys, there's not a lot you can do about it. You're just going to have to do some sort of a marketing plan, which I can help you with, to help get the word out about the difference between MMA and EMA. Nikki's in North Carolina. You should be able, look up in your North Carolina state board regulations and see if you are one of the states that outright prohibits the use of MMA liquid monomer in salons. Like in Washington, we do. It's written into our state law. It is specifically prohibited for use in a salon environment in Washington state, the use of liquid methyl methacrylate. See if it is in North Carolina. If it is, you can just do a written complaint to the state board. Here in Washington, a written complaint from anyone, even a consumer, triggers an inspection. So, or at least get you on the list for an inspection. So you can do that. In the case of MMA, it's not actually toxic. It's not actually poisonous. It's just not used for this here. So the Board of Health, your local Board of Health might be able to help you out. And I didn't catch who that was saying NSS tends to be people who use MMA or don't have MSDS sheets. Well, let me tell you, my problem with that is I know a lot of people who are not using, who do not have MSDS sheets for all their products in their salon. I make a concerted effort to have MSDS sheets, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably am at about 95%. I'm pretty sure if you pulled every single product that's in the 4 walls in my salon, I'm probably missing a sheet or 2. And I make a concerted effort. So I can imagine that there's a lot of people who are not, that are otherwise using really good product. So I don't really want to distinguish on that. And remember, in places like the UK, MMA isn't banned. That's an FDA regulation in the United States. It's not an international cosmetic thing. And I haven't looked at the EU regulations for a while, but since the EU regulations is on the cosmetic ingredient review list, And, oh, there's Andrea. Look, I'm using your cup, Andrea. Since methyl methacrylate is only a problem in cosmetic enhancements when it's used in its liquid form, and not because it's toxic per se, but because it's not appropriate for use in cosmetic enhancements. It's too rigid and it doesn't bond well to the keratin of a nail. But methyl methacrylate is present in polymethyl methacrylate, I should say, is present in almost all liquid and powder systems powder. So it would make it even in the cosmetic ingredients review in the EU regulations, it would have to be one of those that had a lot of stipulations on what form and how it can be used. And they certainly do that, but I haven't checked the EU regulations in a while to know that. But so in areas that don't have any regulation at all, you guys, it's not banned. So we know it's not a good idea. It's not a great product to use. There are better, but it's not banned. And so since it's not banned, how do we use that as a distinguishing thing? I don't know. You know, that's back to that whole, so maybe we know in general, a deep discounted price point is unsustainable with higher end quality products and name brand products, branded products. So using the term discount salon sort of envelops people that are using lower quality materials. University of Nails members know there's a whole lot more that goes into being a discount salon than just a low price. There is definitely other cost saving measures they do. I like to compare it to Walmart. Walmart can sell you the same Clairol shampoo for cheaper than Target or than your drugstore down the street because of the way they buy and the contracts they negotiate and their margins and their other cost control. Nothing in a business exists in a vacuum. And so discount salons are also putting a lot more capital out. They are buying in larger quantities. They're negotiating deeper discounts because they're buying in different quantities. They're using different vendors. And so when we all know, we've all done it, how many of us buy for our houses the store brand of almond milk? That's one I do all the time, so I'll just use that one. How many of us buy our store brand of milk or our store brand of almond milk or whatever because it's cheaper than the branded name cereal? Or we buy store brand cereal, like Kroger carries Rice Bits, which are exactly the same thing as Rice Chex. But they're like half the price because you're not paying for the branding and the advertising and all that kind of stuff. Well, there are products that are quality products, but they're not going to the trade shows and they're not doing advertising in Nails magazine and they're not paying for teams and teams and teams of brand ambassadors and educators and everything. So that translates out to cheaper price on the package. Hi, Jennifer. So those products aren't any less good than some of the other branded products. They just have a different business strategy. And so if a salon is using those products as opposed to the name brand one, then how can we say that the quality thing is different or it's not standard? There are definitely advantages to using branded products. Branding does have its advantages, but it's a different type of business thing. So I don't know how we can necessarily lump that into the whole thing either. But it does, everything comes down to, for in our business, the end result of the price that the customer sees and what they're paying and what they're getting for that money. And so I think maybe we can definitely say discount salon, chain salon, specialty salon, boutique salon, luxury salon. Just like we consider, I use my car analogy all the time, talk about, there's a difference between buying a old Kia or a new BMW or a brand new fancy Ferrari or even a used Ferrari. And we all know that they don't sell Kias on the showroom floor alongside the brand new Ferraris. Levels of products and services is something we're all used to as consumers, but sometimes we have a hard time making that translate into our own business planning. So if you need any help with that, let me know. And $10 a month, University of Nails, universityofnails.com. Join. We'll totally help you with that. So next question, please. I'm going to drink my coffee here and sing the Jeopardy music. Na, 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 na. Oh, look, hearts on the screen. I love when you guys give me hearts. Last time I checked, it had like a whole bunch of hearts. And because it gives you your total when you sign in, which is super cool. So I love seeing when I've got like lots and lots and lots of hearts. Nikki says, it infuriates me when people say Asian salons and are putting them down. There's very nice Asian salons. There is. And until I really got out of my bubble and started reaching out to, Nikki says that are way above par, right? And started really reaching out in my life. I've always reached out across ethnic boundaries. But until I really reached out and started getting to know some people kind of outside of my bubble, it's almost a completely different industry than the ones that a lot of us have been in. The cultural icons of it's almost a completely different cultural industry. They have different priorities. That particular segment of the nail industry has different priorities for how they price their services, how they buy their products, their own mega stars in the nail industry, amazing techniques that they learn, there's a huge family connection. I mean, how many of us don't raise children who come into our business or aren't the children of people in our business? It's very, very common in a lot of other cultures for it to be the family business, not just Asian either. In Latino cultures, also, it's something that is, my daughter didn't grow up to become a nail tech. But in some other cultures, that's exactly what she would have done. She would have grown up working in my salon and she would have become a nail tech. It becomes a whole family thing. And especially when you look at the cultural differences of societies, the United States, Northern European, Canadian, we are generally a more individualistic society, whereas the cultures of Asia and Africa and South America and Central America tend to be more collective. More of a collective society just as a whole. And so there's a huge difference that goes on. That's not just in the nail business. That's just in society and life. And so there's a whole bunch of differences that go on. And until you really dive into that and really kind of embrace that difference, you have a hard time really understanding what the whole business model is. And oh my gosh, I learned so much. I learned some things that I, as an artist, particularly don't agree with, but I also learned some amazing things that I would have never thought of because it's just outside of my box. And you know, we get what we give. And as I've reached out to different companies, different countries, different cultures, as I've reached out with a kind and truly inquisitive nature without judgment or bias, it's been amazing the rapport that has opened up and the people that I've gotten to know, and I've learned so much from it. So I encourage everybody to break down those stereotypes, get past the people and the differences, and instead inquire, you know, why do you do things that way? How did you learn to do it that way? So Nikki said the salons that are Asian owned in my area won't teach me anything, and I've tried. They're just a closed off group. There is some very cultural, powerful things there that are at play. People, Andrea says, don't hate on the Germans, right? I understand it. Now that I've reached out, I understand it. There has been so much marginalization and attacking that, in general, people are much more closed off and distrusting of people outside of their collective group. And I certainly understand why. In fact, it's so pervasive that the salon that's in my town that I go into, that I talk to a lot, I had a fantastic conversation with a third generation nail tech who was quite honest with me after we'd spoken for a while. She's like, I've never talked to a white girl nail tech before. And I was like, you know, no, that's not uncommon. But I felt the need to warn her and say, FYI, not everybody that looks like me is like me. So don't automatically assume because this was the experience you had with me, that that'll be the same experience you have with someone who looks like me. So, you know, and it's sad that I felt the need to warn her off like that. But she was such a sweet and open and inquisitive little girl because she was young that I felt like I had to warn her. Yeah, Jennifer says, why would they teach us anything when we judge them so much, right? I mean, come on, you guys. There's that, you know, it was slightly wrongly, but slightly funny skit by that comedian about the Asian nail shop thing. And, you know, from a customer standpoint, if that's the way that clients see it, then I guess, you know, then there's comedy in that amongst customers. But as those of us who are in the industry, like, we shouldn't find that funny. We should find the comedy skits and stuff like that. We should find it sad because it doesn't have to be that way. It's so divisive. It doesn't have to be that way. And there's so much we can learn from each other if we just stop bashing each other, which seems to sort of be the message du jour, day after day after day. But so I understand, Nikki, where they're coming from, and I can't say is that I blame them. The only thing that you have to do is you have to approach each situation on its merit, and you have to approach it with an open mind. You know, you have to go in and say, hey, I'm not here to bag on you. I'm here actually to learn something from you. And, you know, Jennifer says, even the Asians laugh at that comedian. I had 6 Vietnamese students and we talked about it. They are embarrassed. Yes. And see, I think that's the important thing, is that we need to understand that there are shady people of all ethnicities out there, doing not good things. And, you know, and those are embarrassing. I know some nail techs that I'm embarrassed that I know them, but they don't listen and they're not going to change. And so, you know, and I know some nail techs out there that are doing some fabulous work. I mean, I've told the story a long time ago. When I started doing nails in 1997, I worked in a salon, and I went to school with a girl who graduated around the same time I did, and eventually she came to work in the same salon I did. And she was, Jennifer says they don't speak English because it's not so good, broken English, and so they don't talk to us because they've been embarrassed is why. I find that the language barrier isn't such a big deal if people roll with it and try to figure it out. That's been my experience. Again, I've said this about another subject earlier today, a little bit of empathy takes us a long way. But this girl I went to nail school with, she was Eastern Indian, and her English was good. She'd been in the States for a very, very long time, but she very definitely still had an accent. And she came to work in the salon that I worked in. She did beautiful nails. She used quality products. She took fantastic care of her clients. We had to not even ask, sort of demand for her to stop answering the phone because we were on a phone rotation of whoever wasn't busy or whoever had time that day or whatever was the person who would answer the phone. And we were a collective, and it was all really fair. We spread out new clients and new calls, and it was great. But we had to have her stop answering the phone because people would hang up on her because of her accent when she answered the phone. You guys got to remember, this is 1997, 1998. People thought it was totally okay to do so. People would hang up on her. They would go, "Oh, I was looking for not a cheap salon, sorry," and would hang up on her before she could even explain we weren't that. Andrea says, when you take continuing education classes for Ohio, you need to learn about human trafficking, one of the things. Right. There is all kinds of ugly, ugly underbelly things to our industry. And it's our job as people who are active in the industry to kind of pull all that out into the open. Andrea says, as in they're not allowed to speak English, right? Yeah. I mean, that's why we need to make rules and regulations so that there is a safe environment for how to get that point out to people. And that's a whole nother big human awareness campaign that we need to do that's way outside of what, the nail art trends are best and that kind of stuff. That's a whole nother ball of wax that we need to get on that from a PSA standpoint. If you guys want to really get involved in your local communities, in your areas, partner with your local news media outlets, your newspapers, let me tell you, newspapers and news outlets and news programs and local news type programs are all about ratings. And if they think you've got something to say that's going to put eyeballs on their screen, then they're all down for that. So, get out there. Maybe you're not the person who wants to talk on camera. That's okay. Reach out to these media outlets with story ideas on things that they can do and put them in contact with people who don't mind the screen time issues. So, if you've got a local organization that's working against human trafficking, if that's something that really needs awareness raised in your area, if you have a lot of problems with infections from salons, which I often get the feeling are not nearly as pervasive as some of the fear-based media would like us to believe, even within our own industry. If you, if there's something that's going on in your area, use it to not only our advantage, but the advantage of the people who are caught up in that, and maybe get a task force that's local involved in going in and, trying to create some awareness of this. And as awful as the New York Times extravaganza was about discount salons in New York, because it was biased on some fronts and it led to some really kind of crappy legislation getting thrown into place. it did do a lot of good in a ways in raising awareness. We just need to make sure that when we're raising awareness, that we're putting out there the right information. And unfortunately, there's so much bias in our industry that sometimes it's really hard to get somebody who, call me up, nailgirl1022@yahoo.com. I'll go on screen, obviously, anytime, anywhere, any place, to give a non-biased professional opinion. I don't have a shy bone in my body. They could put me on satellite. It's like the movie stars. The movie stars, when they do those satellite interviews, they're not all in the same room with all those newscasters, right? They are doing that all by tele interview. So maybe that's what I should start, my own little media blitz campaign. If only I was rich. I could totally do that, but I'm not. Still got to do nails for a living, guys. All right. So what else do you guys want to talk about? I'm surprised you guys haven't asked me more personal questions. Oh, yeah, Barb, we're so not getting into the Russian manicure topic. I did a show on that. I touched on that last week, and the difference between a Russian manicure and an e-file manicure, and there's so much out there now that I went into a whole big on show. Go on YouTube. It's up there. Pretty sure it's up there. Pretty sure it's on the YouTube channel, which, by the way, you guys should all subscribe to Nails Over Coffee Archive. Rachel says she rewatched that one. I loved it. I'm surprised you guys aren't throwing more personal questions out at me. Do you guys all know me that well at this point that there's, other than my toenail polish color, there isn't anything to ask me? Like, nobody's asked me yet why my nails aren't done. I mean, I don't even have shellac on. Nobody's asked me that. I mean, the answer to why they're short is easy because I do an introductory reflexology massage on my highest price pedicure. And so I need my thumbs and my fingertips. And so just like a massage therapist, right? Jennifer says crickets. I need my fingertips, so I have to have short nails. But there's a reason why I don't have polish on right now. Amy says, when's Rain getting married? Rain is getting married June. I keep saying the 24th, and I'm pretty sure it's the 25th. Love my mother of the bride dress. Thanks. Yeah, that's, poor Rain. I was like, yes, okay, it's important. The 24th. Yes, she's getting married on the 24th of June. I was like, Rain, come on now. Let's get down to what's really important, which is what am I going to wear? Yeah, and she took that for what it was. So, right? Because, pictures, hello. Like, pictures and lots of people all in one place at a time. What I'm wearing is important. So, I'd have probably timed my next foil done better if I knew when the wedding was. I want to know what you call the glitter that has different size particles in it. I call it glitter. Call it chunky glitter. I tend to describe glitter by microfine. Yeah, see, Camille calls it chunky glitter too. Microfine, ultrafine, fine, chunky, glitter. It's glitter. Chunky. Yeah, Jennifer says chunky too. It seems like we have a bit of a consensus that it's chunky glitter. Mixed glitter. Mixed chunky glitter would probably be an accurate description for the kind that's got, Amy says big fat glitter. Hey, that could make the glitter feel bad about its self-image. We shouldn't call it fat glitter. Mixed chunky, right? Look on pictures, you can't see it. Miranda says fairy farts. Oh, Miranda. Okay, I'll buy chunky. Nothing wrong with fat, right? No, I like the mixed chunky idea because I have some glitters from Cordoza Nail Supply from my nail box that have everything. Jennifer just ate a chunky chocolate bar. Right on. that has everything. I got some glitters that have like, it's almost a microfine pigment chrome in them, but then it's got some standard size glitter, but then it's also got some chunkier mylar size pieces and everything. Like, it's a huge mix, which is kind of cool because it's all in one, so you don't have to layer it out. It kind of layers itself, which is kind of fun. You just got to be aware to get those bigger pieces in stuck before you really push in the finer ones, or then the big chunky ones don't want to stick and they come off when you top coat. But those are kind of fun because they're already pre-mixed. And so there's something to be said for pre-mixed in the salon for fast, fast, fast. And so if you're working on, you know, a time crunch, which a lot of times we are, those are kind of fun. Camille, do I have a camera that I use for University of Nails or YouTube? My videos that I do on the fly like this, my Periscope videos are done on an iPhone 6 Plus. I used an HD video camera that I borrowed from the university when I did my original University of Nails videos, but now I have a digital SLR camera with a boom microphone that I will be, and photo lights that I will be using for the next wave of University of Nails videos, which are going to be almost, I have a handful of videos I'm doing on business topics. The rest of them will be almost all basic procedure based, done at the table, because there's a lot of people who are getting out of nail school, especially around the globe, without even a basic in-person type specific education on techniques. You know, they're learning out of the Milady textbook maybe, and that's about it. And so I'm going to do a bunch of videos on non-product related basic classes about different procedures. Jennifer says she has news about her state's testing criteria. Ooh, tell us what's going on in Wisconsin, Jennifer. Love to hear. If it's too much to type, you can always email it to me and I can talk about it on Thursday's show. But so yeah, the next round of videos is going to be the different types of manicures, water manicures, oil manicures, dry manicures, different types of cuticle treatments, you know, then we're going to go on into the different, I'm going to do a video with the different differences between gel polishes in a brush-on bottle, gel polishes in a pot. I think I've done a deregulation show too, Darlene. I'll have to go back and pull a link for that. I'm pretty sure I did a show on deregulation. I'll try and go back and pull a link on that for us. So yeah, I'm also going to do, so then, you know, the differences between, you know, proper removal and improper removal. I'm going to do a bunch of different videos on some real simple salon nail art techniques. I'm going to talk about specialization for people who want to be natural nails only. That is a very, very, very viable business plan in today's nail industry marketplace. Spas do it all the time. I'm going to go over some different gel application videos, some basic e-file videos. Jennifer says, draw a blank one on a client's eponychium, do an e-file manicure, and see if you touch the living skin, right? Yeah, and I'm going to go, this next round of videos is going to have like a whole bunch of different videos on pedicure techniques. I really want the University of Nails to be something that people can join while they're in nail school or right out of nail school. And so instead of getting your random who only knows what you're getting off of YouTube information. They have one place for $10 a month. It's cheap to be able to go to learn and continue to use as a resource until they feel like they're really comfortable in their business and their procedures and stuff. So I'm going to go through I have a waterless pedicure tutorial video on my personal YouTube page from before Nails Over Coffee, before the University of Nails. So it's up on my personal page, and I'm not sure where the video is, my copy of it. I'm going to try and find it. I think I have it on a hard drive somewhere, so I can get it on a different channel. But in the meantime, if you go to YouTube and you look up my page, which is under Nail Girl 1022, if you go look up my page, there's a video on there. It's got over 11,000 views now, which is kind of cool. And it's a waterless tutorial using the Get Fresh products that I use for my waterless pedicures. And I do a little bit of explaining in it. It's like a 15-minute video. That's kind of along the idea of what you're going to see for these different pedicure tutorials that I'm going to do. So those are all going to be a part of the University of Nails. So I'm definitely going to do more blogging this year, and I'm going to write my first book this summer that's going to do cover a lot of the things that University of Nails does, but it's just going to be a book. And the Nail Rogue blog, if you go to thenailrogue.com, that's the Nail Rogue blog. And I'm going to be getting some of these archived product trials that I did up there with some blogged videos and pictures, before and after pictures from some of the stuff we did, and some screen grabs and everything, and some kind of overviews and contact links of where to buy and those kind of things. So I've done a lot of product trials over the last year and a half, and so I'm going to get those up into the Nail Rogue blog, which some of them should seem like, meh, it was like a year ago, isn't that kind of old? But as long as the product's still around, you know, maybe somebody will find it useful. Maybe it'll be the product that solves all their problems. So I'm going to try to get onto more of a schedule of doing that this year. So my next article coming up there's an article already in the works for the Italian magazine, beauty magazine that I write for, called Beauty Addicted. There's already another article that I've sent off to Francesca. I just love when she sends me little messages with her sweet Italian accent. It's so cute. But there's already an article in the works for the next issue that's coming out. But I'm getting ready to do some step-by-step tutorials on some different stuff for the issues coming up. So those will go up on the Nail Rogue blog after they come out in the magazine. I let them come out in the magazine first, so Francesca can definitely get that out in the magazine to the Italian-speaking world before I go putting it out there for the rest of the world in English. So it's a lot to translate. I'm getting better at my Italian, though, slowly. Spanish is still on the list, too, for becoming fluent. All right, guys. Well, we'll wrap up with one more question or so, and then I got to get out of here because I got the rest of the stuff to do this afternoon. Because I had to, if you guys are friends with me on my personal page, you've seen my cover photo, which is put your hair up in a bun, drink some coffee, and handle it. Beauty trends. Yeah, you know, I've got that, new trends. I've got that on my list of things to talk about as soon as I can put it all together. That was my article, was trends, polish and service trends around the world. And believe it or not, it was really, really, really hard to write the article because it's amazing how different things are everywhere. And so still, even now, still kind of pulling data. It's so different, like across the states, across North America, when you jump over to Europe. New Zealand, Australia, the trends are so different. Yeah, geodes and marble nails are definitely picking up in trend now. So, Camille, what are the names of these Facebook groups with all this nonsense? I have no idea what's going on. Oh, good grief. There's so many. There's so many, Camille. It's on almost all of them, really. To be honest with you, name two. Nail Professionals Technical has a rather lengthy debate going on about the Russian manicure thing, which is a great group because it keeps product brand names out and it's super moderated, so it doesn't generally go off the rails, but it is definitely on the more restrictive end of what we do in our industry, more controlled. Camille, maybe I don't, but I'm literally clueless. Camille, I'll send you some links or I'll invite you to some. How about that? We'll just keep it off. Let's keep off the drama here. You know, Spanx, you're welcome. All right. So I'm going to ski-daddle. Keep the video from getting too long that nobody wants to watch it. And hopefully my poor old iPhone 6 Plus here, which is only a 16 gigabyte iPhone, doesn't like to store things anymore. I've learned that that's part of the problem is I've almost maxed out on memory. So since I don't have the money to buy a new phone right now, yeah, I have to upload my videos to YouTube, and then I have to transfer them onto a hard drive almost after every show now, because I can pretty much only get like one show at a time on here. So, yeah, if anybody has a higher memory iPhone 6 Plus, with like say 32 gigs or 64 gigs or 128 gigs and that's unlocked and would love to gift that to me, I certainly would not say no. I'm not even picky. I don't even care if the screen's a little cracked. As long as the camera's not cracked, I don't know that I care. So, but it's got to be AT&T or T-Mobile or and unlocked. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Time for us to go get ready to go do the rest of our afternoon stuff on my day off with the fam. So I will see you guys on Thursday at 4:30 my time. That's 7:30 Eastern. I believe it's 11:30. And mark your calendars out on Sunday. Sunday is Past the Polish, the Scope Train. Can't remember the time. It's in the afternoon. Past Polish Scope Train is on Sunday this week, the 23rd. So peace, love, and nails. Thanks for joining in. And if this was anything interesting, share, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Facebook and Instagram and all that other hooey. Y'all know the drill. You know how it goes now. Not hard to find anybody you're looking for, right? All right. Talk to you guys later. Ciao. Ciao. Arrivederci.